Final best of three coming at you, ladies and gents. It's North, it's Windigo. Myself and Dusk going to be bringing you this one. It's been a long day of Counter-Strike. We have another one planned after this on the B stream. I thought we were jumping straight into this game, but it does seem like the players are chilling at spawn, so it might be a little bit longer. But Dust, any thoughts, any feelings coming into this between North and Windigo? Obviously, we've already casted Windigo a few times.
Well, first of all, Vince, I'm glad we get to cast Dust 2 again.
Haha.
Second of all, yeah, this should be a fun matchup just because North looked in really good form earlier this tournament. They had a win over Vitality, a really close series with Liquid, the #2 team in the world. It was an 0-2, but both maps were very, very close. And also, North looked really good in EPL leading into this event. Qualified for the finals over Na'Vi. That was a big statement from them with their new lineup. So, curious to see how well they can do here in Dallas. Already doing all right.
Yeah, doing a solid job. Of course, again, this is a lower bracket match, so the winner proceeds, the loser is out. Same idea as the previous best of threes we've been casting here. Yugi having a couple of jump peaks. Victor straight through with poison. Yugi only takes out 18 health. I thought it'd be a lot more than that, considering most of those bullets were at head height, and he did take a couple to his chest. Yugi, though, spins back around again with the USP. All the remaining terrorists are following their way through long. It is just a case of picking them off one by one, and Yugi with a blistering 3K. North really opening their account in style here on Overpass.
Yeah, really well done. This is a map that North used to struggle on with their older lineup, but they actually have been kind of improving their Overpass. They've won it a couple of times on land at EPL. They're up against a Windigo team, though, that has only lost this map once offline in 9 games played. That was to Mouse Sports and Tours. They've beaten elite-level teams like Na'Vi and Fnatic. The one key difference, though, Vince, is that they are without their normal 5th blocker. They have Calyx instead standing in. But to be fair, he was an absolute monster yesterday in all their games, so it might actually help out their fragging power a bit.
Sure, yeah, I was just about to say that. But yeah, Calyx is a stand-in, but what a stand-in he's proved to be. Incredible fragger, seems to be fitting in very easily. Yuki, though, a player with a point to prove with the AUG. Gonna land their first headshot. Windigo on the back foot. As you say, they are pretty damn strong. We saw Poison yesterday as well, doing a great deal of work with the AWP on both sides, but mainly it's the CT side where he was shining brightest. Yuki gonna take down players one by one as they peek him, realizing that Long isn't under control from the rest of his team and he could be pushed on. Just perched up on that slight bench, so skews the headshot angle for Calyx. And it's a clean sweep for North. Great for their money balance.
Yeah, another big talking point here for North, by the way. Obviously, Valda was one of the top-rated players in the world right now, definitely within the top 15, but now he's the in-game leader, so we have to wonder how much his fragging will suffer. So far, it's been okay. Also, AZ's had a hell of a year this year. I want to give some props to him. And then finally, Yugi. He's a guy that was such a monster on Heroic, monster early on Optic, but then started to struggle. This is his next big chance to show what he's made of. He's done well so far on this team. But here in the opening gun round, we have Poison taking charge, taking down Kierby. It's Poison and Chips to be the ones to look out for, of course, for Windigo. Very flashy players. Alongside Calyx, the mercenary, who, again, was really bright yesterday. So there's a good bit of firepower in this server is the point, as we continue to roll out this first gun round.
Yeah, really being a monster merc at this point, Calyx. But the first kill is going to go the way of Poison. Kierby, silence. Forces 3 players over onto the A side of the map on North. Gonna be looking to funnel their way into bathrooms. Yugi watching the cross, does a bit of damage, but nothing significant. Poison's gonna be able to shake that off as he goes down to connector. They only have Gade here. Now Valda's starting to move in, try and help him out. But this would effectively be a 2-on-4. Watch out for Yugi, though. He is actually in position to push down connector if the call is given that this is an all-out B hit. He could be the fulcrum point. He could be the main piece of this puzzle if the kills can come down on the site. Valda with a UMP from range, able to spray into the head of Chips and gets a second. Yugi may not be required after all, or perhaps hold the phone he will. AZ needs to go big, does just that with the MP9, leaving Poison to the 1-on-2. SG to his hands. He started this round off. Can he finalize it too? Can he close this chapter? It's not looking good for him. Runs out of bullets, and AZ will pop up again. North 3-0 already.
Well done by North. We talked about this yesterday, Vince. It needs to be brought up again. Windigo love that B bomb site. B is for Bulgarian. They will hit that so many times throughout this game, particularly early and middle half. They will hit it more often than not. It's only later on in the game, once they've established themselves at B and created fear in their opponent, that they will eventually throw fakes and start going A kind of towards the latter part of the half. So that means that Valda and Gade are going to be tested quite a lot. They've actually been able to keep their CT positions on North, even with the roster change. Yugi has just kind of slid into the opping role, and Valda's pretty much continued to play over here towards B. They actually have AZ and Gade over here this time. Every now and then you'll see them swap. But now Valda will be reinforcing with a third over at B. But obviously this round, not much for Windigo to do, just Eagles. Calyx already taken down pretty low.
The early skirmish not going to favor too well for Windigo. Kia B will pounce on top of that opportunity to bubble. It wraps him in a second. I don't want to get too carried away at this one, though, Gus. You say very low investment. It's all about the next round. And can North continue to engage the rounds? Because right now, this has been a pretty clear-cut, convincing 4-0. They've only lost 4 lives in the process of this.
Yeah, 2 perfect rounds. In the pistol, they only lost 1. So it's definitely been pretty dominant so far, but not many buys from Windigo. You said this is only their second time fully decked out. AWP for Poison. That means they could slow down to allow him to look for picks, but they also could just be looking to get some short B control early on as well. Calyx and Victor, the normal entry fragger for this team. So the fact that he's over towards B so early means that, to me, that they definitely have the intent to go B at some point, especially since there's really no A presence. A lot of loaded up in connector. Valda already taken down, trying to be aggressive through the short pipe. That'll really reinforce the idea of going B, but Gade and Kirby still have control of short, so they're going to have to fight for it.
What a strange round, though. They blew so much utility on this potential fate. If Valda doesn't go for that peak, they've basically just used about 6 grenades for nothing, but they do go looking. Windigo playing passive, gonna reap the rewards. A second kill. AZ sprayed through the wooden panel, connects to the head of Bubble, into connector itself. That's gotta sting.
Slows everything down. Windigo still do have the man advantage. They still do have the intent to go towards B. They have ships kind of towards, just making sure they're not pushing Fountain. But Gade's caught Victor. That's a big kill, but B is open. It's being pushed by Poison with the AWP in the sight. Gade catching Calyx, though. That's a big play. That saves the day for North. It gets them the edge.
That's a mammoth play. Plus putting the smoke and the Molotov down, it funnels both terrorists onto Monster. I'm surprised that nobody else has came to help Gade out, though. Do they still assume this is a fake? They must do. This is such a slow rotation. Gade is still waiting, just actually playing graffiti because he knows he's all alone and looking for that moment. And it is forthcoming. And to make matters worse, the bomb drops the wrong side of the site. The ships can't even pick this up and try and bait the players out into the open. Time's running out, and so is help. North 5-0 up.
Big play from Gade. That round was not looking good, man. Valda got caught. Another player in short B went down, thanks to Poison's AWP. AZ got a lucky little spam through the panel, which helped out, but it was really Gade who did the heavy lifting there. 3 huge kills with the AUG, particularly catching Victor so early on was massive, and that's now just a flawless half so far from North. That was a closer round, sure, but Windigo are low on funds. Again, just upgraded pistols. That means North will probably find 6 here very shortly. Not to start Windigo 1 and Vince, especially on their home map. The map they've only lost once in 9 games, Vince. They've beaten elite teams time and time again. They have been brutal on Overpass, but North are silencing them so far.
Well, that's the thing. If they do show certain tells and North have really gone in deep on the potential Overpass pick, they definitely could counter-strap this. Gade, though, can have smokes all around him. AUG in hand. Still able to stand tall, deliver. Does enough damage to Calyx. The nade finishes him off. AZ now, 17 HP to his name. Not going to go down because Windigo have been squashed on their B hits. 6-0, but Windigo will have a buy coming up.
This is where Windigo will have to see what they're truly going to be up to. Will they keep leaning towards B as they often have throughout their careers together, or are they going to make some type of adjustment? Are they going to finally go and just play out a default round, something they don't do very often? Indeed, they will. They don't have very set roles on this team, by the way. Many different players can play outside B on default. This round it'll be ships. It can sometimes be bubble. But I think with Blocker not here, they don't want to have too many moving parts on their default. So I think they want to just kind of keep ships outside B on default and just really let Calyx kind of flex his firepower. Let him kind of play off the back to Victor, who's going to be that main entry. Make him the most comfortable.
Moving up onto the long side. With two players here, both Valda and Kirby. That flashbang not going to deter them too much, but Calyx entering alongside Victor does take a headshot. Fortunately, it's only from an AUG at range, where it's not going to pack that one hit kill punch. Instantly afterwards, Windigo do start to retreat back with the bomb. They're not fully committing down on this. They have connected control again, which is such a huge integral part of Overpass. Really does allow the rotations to come into fruition.
Look at this, though. Ships sneaking out. Will he catch Gade? Gade smoking off short, but I don't think he's realized that Ships has already gotten in.
It doesn't. Oh, the bullets hit him in the back of the head. Yugi knows exactly what's coming up. Molotov towards short. Gonna try and now deal with this player on pillar. Threads the bullet through the head of Bubble. 15 seconds to go. Bomb is in a retrieval position. They can still do this, the Bulgarians. Well, they've got the Turkish player with them now as well. And he is the last player standing. 10 HP to his name. That they could finish it off. And AZ gets the 2K at the end. What a hold again by North.
From a disadvantage again, Vince. I mean, they lost the early numbers. That long exchange did not go their way at all. Windigo were on top of things. Then Gade even gets blindsided. He didn't realize Ships had snuck out. He goes off the board. I think that was, what, a 4-on-2 for Windigo? If I'm not mistaken? And then they wound up just kind of coughing it away. Yugi, big boy plays with the AWP rotating through heaven at just the right time. Also a nice little short push. And so North just seemed to have Windigo's number, man. Even rounds where Windigo should be putting them away, they are unable to close. And look at the numbers on Windigo, man. Highest amount of kills is 4, down to 1. You combined it all, they have, what, 11 kills between all of them? Yugi almost has that match by himself with 10.
And no kills. Sorry, no deaths, pardon me, for Yugi.
Yeah.
So, they were able to really break him down. You're spot on as well. It was a 2v4 after they got an early 1-for-2 trade in their favor on long as well. If you remember, it was Valda and Kirby that both died. So really no excuse not to win that round, but North continue to stomp forward. Kirby using the smoke as a wall. And of course will come crumbling down momentarily. Bubblo gonna make some noise. Kirby, does he have the right timing? Yes, he does. 2 players make it 3. Alongside AZ runs out of bullets, but this is where the next line of defense has to come in. Smoke deployed down. Calyx knows what's coming up, but he's whiffed his opportunity. Not quite gonna be the clean sweep, but may as well be, because North's finances are booming.
It's so nice to see Valda on A. He was so well known for that position on previous teams. He was kind of like a Magius, just so dangerous in the bathrooms and connector. He's had to play B a lot on the North lineup to help facilitate Kirby, who likes to play the A side. But every now and then you see Valda there, but that's why Kirby's playing A, by the way. Very strong there as well. Big spray down. It's 8-0 right now. It's some of the most dominant CS we've seen in the groups. If this keeps up, Windigo are in so much trouble if they lose on their map pick, you have to feel.
Certainly the case. This is a must-win map for Windigo, and really, statistically, you think it would be a win. Oh, the timing, Yugi.
Doesn't matter.
Still gets it, but nearly gets so badly timed. It's just against pistols at the end of the day. 3 Desert Eagles, 3 Pocket Rockets. Bombs also drop back towards T side of connector, so even if they do get entries onto this site like Ships has just done, it's not going to be a plant anytime soon. Yugi still yet to die. 12-0-0. The man is immortal. And there's the caster's curse in full effect.
Well done, Vince.
Calyx pilfers his head. It had to happen at some time. It turns out he does bleed. Well, hold on a second. There's still 45
Yeah.
seconds left, and Ships has now got an AUG, and he's going to have a free rotate back to the bomb. So this isn't quite over.
No, not at all. There's a couple of smokes, though, that could block Ships off and force him to push through one, or even Gate can incendiary short B, just to make sure he can limit the angles he has to worry about, or just wait and save it until he's actually starting to plant. But it's actually easy with AWP watching the side. He could just end it very easily here, though. Good angle.
Yeah. It's always going to have to come down to if Ships maybe read the situation and tossed the Molotov into heaven, which he's not really going to do. Shot made a lot more sense, as you said.
Yeah. It's great seeing Yugi play so well, though, man. It felt like he just withered away on Optic for whatever reason. Not sure if it was the team environment or just not motivated, whatever the case may be, but you always knew he could be that next best opera from Denmark after Device. Showed that promise in Heroic, and now he's showing it here. He's played so well since he's joined North, and I'm happy to see it. What can Windigo do, though, now, man? Their B plays have not been on point yet, but that's what you feel like they need to have because they're so reliant upon it in all their other games. So they need to be able to establish that to feel comfortable.
It's hard to see how Windigo can mix this up. I mean, they've been super one-dimensional. It's just that North are faster on the trigger. They have the truer aim. They are out-dueling. They're just absolutely bossing Windigo at this point.
Yeah, this is a moment for the bully hunters, Vince.
Oh god, I try to forget about that. that whole thing. I'm sure they did too.
Yeah. I'm sure Windigo would love to forget Vince about these last 10 rounds.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, it really is the case where Windigo are very much a one-dimensional team in the sense that, again, we talked about this a lot, that their B executes are their bread and butter. Again, it's only later on in the half, once they've established B, that they will begin to start kind of doing these long A pushes and things like that. They're good, usually good with utility, and they can be a very aggressive, scrappy team just because you got guys like Calyx and Victor and stuff who can be very fast-paced players, but for whatever reason, it's just not ticking. In that round, they were dry hitting B with really no nades. They were just trying to do something different, maybe try to catch a timing, do a pacing change, whatever the case may be, though. But North is just, they know exactly what they're up against. They've countered Windigo on every single front. This is where you got to dig deep and come up with something huge. Something different. Something's got to change for Windigo.
Well, Molotov is going to get extinguished, and Calyx already making a solid move towards long. Bubble currently on 6 ADR, by the way. You hate to see that. Calyx onto Kirby, trying to spin around. 2 tasty shots, looking for a third. The stand-in stands tall. Good counter flashbang into the peak. Yugi has been pummeled. He has to back away with 25 HP. Windigo, this is your chance. Please convert this. From a neutral's perspective, I would hate to see them lose this round now.
Surely not. Not with Yugi in a 1v4 with an AWP and 25 HP, and he's just in the middle of a sea of Windigo, who's all over the B-bomb site. He still has Calyx as well towards long A. Ships is watching for the rotation through Graffiti. I mean, he'd be lucky to save the AWP at this point, much less win the round. This should be a sealed deal.
Bomb has been planted.
He's about to bump heads with Yugi. His Ships and takes him down. So Windigo, welcome to the scoreboard. If they can rummage together 4 or 5 rounds, I still believe in them coming back to this one, to be fair. I don't think they're completely dead just yet.
Yeah, just a little bit of a split pushing technique from Windigo. They're challenging long A and they went out that fight, and then they also pushed short B at the same time and caught Gade, who was in transition, figuring that maybe it was going to be the A hit. So that's always good whenever you can, aggress multiple sides and get winning duels on both fronts. Really opens all up the doors. But it's only one round, Vince. An island amidst the ocean that is North, and honestly, man, knowing what North's T side has in store for them, they are in very dangerous waters right now.
Yeah, it feels like an island that's on top of a volcano that's about to erupt. Definitely not a stable one, is it? But, as we said before, if they can string together some rounds, if they can break down the economy, you can see that Yugi's down to 900, Gade's 2.2k. Maybe, just maybe, they can end on a streak of 5 rounds. 10-5 would not be completely impossible, far from it. We've seen Windigo come back from worse than that here on Overpass. course, at the same time, though, putting those rounds together, much easier said than done. Lightning is going to have to strike multiple times on the same target. That's great. Far off. Bubble's going to take the worst of it, though. Actually doesn't tag a single bullet. Very unfortunate, just purely down to luck at the end of the day. Good flick from Poison onto Gade. That's going to send shivers down the spine of North. As AZ now has to try and hold the line all by himself, and he's going to get two. Spraying with the M4. That really has been the tale of this map thus far. North just better aim, better positioning. Just destroying.
We're talking about how we were happy to see Yuki really get back on form and get back on track. I mean, I feel like AZ was the one that we also always wanted to see. He was so strong in earlier years on Dignitas, but he definitely had his periods where everyone felt like he should be on the chopping block on North, and validly so. He definitely had his struggles, but I feel like he's really adjusted to this new lineup well. He played really well at EPL, played really well at Star Ladder. Doing well here today.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like he's in a similar boat to like Jacob was. You know how we were talking earlier about Renegades? Yep. A player that was definitely in a pretty rough situation, has really fought his way out. Nice try by AZ. The peak, though, is going to give Windigo a chance to get onto the B site. We know they like to hit this site as much as possible. Flirtation, though, Dust not really following through. And there's also Valda who's in connector. And if he can pull off the right timing, it could be all shorty. It does open the door. That's going to alert them to his presence, but it also keeps them stuck. Yep. They can't fully focus on going short when Valda is here. That's such a good play. Many players would try and bait this out. He hasn't. He's okay putting himself in the firing line if it's for the betterment of his team. And that's exactly what ends up happening.
Windigo are getting absolutely rinsed, man. Like, this is really bad. As you noted, that was cool to open up the door just to let Windigo know, hey, guess what? If you want to fall back, you can't. I can peek at any time. Now you have to focus your attention elsewhere. You can't just keep your heads trained on the bomb site. And then later comes out for frags. So it's been an absolute destruction here from North. A couple of rounds left to play, and Windigo again still trying to challenge over towards B, but also splitting with Poison and Bubble towards middle. An exchange takes place there. Yugi trying to see if he can find more. He's got some help in the bathrooms with Valda.
Only a chance. AZ shows himself for a moment. They're going to anticipate Gade here. Yes, they will. Calyx nearly with a double. Actually does get the double, but gets eliminated by his own teammate. You can understand that. You're not anticipating Calyx to get both. You'd rather just guarantee the kill as opposed to maybe getting double fragged yourself. Windigo, though, you have the player advantage. Valda again through connector this time. Victor in a much better position to fend him off. Yugi up in heaven. May end up getting backstabbed quite literally if Ships finds him with his attention down towards his teammates. They're going to bait this out. Victor's waiting, but takes the kill anyway. Ships is like, come on, bruh. I'm right behind him with a knife. Let me shank this guy. He literally had his knife out like a millimeter away from landing it.
He needed that knife money, man. Only one round left to play. Obviously, he's not going to have any real impact here. Windigo finally do punch one more through. Just really being able to read into that bait and switch that North had on Monster on either side of the exit. Able to pick out and get the duels in their favor. Even with the team kill, they managed it just fine. So, problem is just a flash in the pan. And look at Yuki just said, what's up, Poison? Get out of my face.
He got utterly flicked off the server there. That was a lovely shot, but elsewhere, Gade also went down to the hands of Victor. So an even trade. Gonna keep North with 3 players stacked on the B side of the map.
Yeah. They know it's probably gonna be B. I mean, it has been like 80% of the time, so they're definitely just hedging their bets safely. That's a big kill though from Ships catching AZ trying to make a play. There's a sneak going on, too, from Bubble on the A side, but Yugi's still here.
Bubble gets him, so that is the wraparound on A. Working out well. Entry from Calyx. Valda. Org, what can he do? First kill's gone clean. They need to respect this man. but the strength in numbers approach allows them to double up the peak. 12-3 half.
A little bit of life in the end from Windigo, but it took a long time to get there, and it may be a little too late. We'll find out shortly as we bring you the second half of Overpass between North and Windigo in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
Overpass, the choice of Windigo, has been a slam dunk, but not the way you may anticipate. North now on the T side, 12-3 up. I'm Vince, joined by Dust, our final best of 3 of day 2 of DreamHack Masters Dallas. And we're just about to jump into the second half. It's pretty simple for Windigo here, Dust. Win this pistol, or this map is very likely done.
It's probably the most brutal beating they've ever taken on this map, dude. Like, it's not looking good, but we'll see if they can course correct with the pistol. Some aggression at long A could indeed be right what they need.
Right idea, but there is going to be a flashbang greeting them. Doesn't really matter, though, because they're getting the kills anyway. Bubble whiffing all the shots. And Gade is landing them. He's spinning around. That's 3 kills to his name.
I'm confused, man. Just all kinds of shit just happened. Now we have a 1v1.
Not
really a way I can break that down. Just, yeah, complete chaos in the long A. Now the mind games begin.
Yeah, because where Victor was stationed, I think he was playing B. He came up through towards Dumpster, and he has no idea now where Gade is.
No.
Like, literally, Gade could be going anywhere on the map. Victor just has to stay in a centralized position and hope for the best.
Gade's the same way, though. He has no idea where Victor is.
Right. But I'd assume that he would anticipate that Victor probably would have rotated towards where the action was, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, Victor is a rotator anyway, normally on the CT side, so he could be either way, leaning. So, yeah, who knows? Gade has to clear out everything just to make sure he can safely plant. He feels comfortable now going for it. Victor will soon realize where the bomb's been planted. Ooh!
Doesn't get the kill outright, though, so he's not going to have the element of surprise anymore. And this is where it's going to have to come down to Gade, Glock in hand. Was that a 1v4 clutch? In amongst all the chaos, I have no idea. But what a ridiculous play he's just pulled off.
That is ridiculous, man. Who? Again, I don't know either. It may have been 1v3. Who knows? It was so chaotic, but definitely really clutch there in the end from Gade. Name another time you see someone hit a headshot through that little hole in the wall. In midair. That was so wild.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you see every day. And with that, other than the initial excitement of the round, Windigo are now absolutely Shrek.
Destroyed.
Well, they're back to the back. So many grenades fired across the barrel. Somehow Victor still stands. Windigo may feel like they have to take a gamble here or get a bit of a desperation play going, but maybe not until they start to lose a player or two.
Yeah. Seeing Valda kind of help lead the charge. That's kind of a new thing for him now that he's in-game leading. He wants to be in a central position, so he's not really playing solo roles much anymore. KRB's doing that in connector. AZ still plays outside B normally, but we may not even get to see any of that. As North are going to be bunching up middle now, trying to challenge. Rebel puts a smoke down to try to bide a little bit of time. But North are going to come crashing through with the flash of that smoke.
Nice try by Bubble, did quite a lot of damage, but now the superior weaponry beginning to shine in the eyes of Windigo. They're being blinded, and they're being culled and cut down to size. Victor and Calyx, both up through underground. Neither of them is connector, where Yugi is currently looking. They decided to actually peace out and save. They do have a UMP and a couple of armors, so it's an understandable decision, but at the end of the day, it's the rounds that really count at this point. They've got to get something done in this next round.
I think all hope is pretty much lost at this point, Vince. Again, this will be the most brutal beating they've ever taken. They played 9 games of Overpass on land coming into this. They'd only lost it once. That was to Mouse Sports. I believe that was at Torres. And yeah, this is going to be worse than that.
Question is, do they buy, do they force here, or do they tap out and wait for round 15? It's going to be a force.
Yeah, that game against Mouse Sports where they lost, it was 16-11, so this would be much more brutal if it continues this course. But as you noted, they've bought up what they can. They're going to try to challenge here and now to try to contest North's map point. What can they do?
Valda nading up over onto Graffiti. there. Long range, UMP's not really the weapon you want to be using, but he does carve out Calyx. Victor returns fire. That is going to favor North, though, of course. Not only does it isolate these two players from the rest of their team, but also their utility is so low. It's where North can really start to twist the knife. Windigo, as a result, going to play desperate. They're going to play aggressive. Poison trying to get round the back of North. Is this timing going to work out for him? He's spotting multiple players. There's one. Catches another with a knife out. Does so much damage to Yugi. And now Bubble needs to connect one of these scout shots, and he's whiffing everything. So mid and long become controlled by North. The Danes trying to end this quick.
Thing is, the Windigo are easily able to rotate very quickly to A, so this is where North probably slows down and makes them think, hey, maybe they could be doubling back to B. They're not going to just plow into A. They want to see if they can cause a rotation, and they have. Ships doesn't begin to fade back. Victor will push forward Bathrooms, but it's going to be bypassed by a long A, just slow trot into the site. So North have done the best they could hope for here in a 3-on-2 to ensure that they have the easiest time winning, bypassing any CTs on their way into the site and forcing ships to move to respect B.
This may be where Windigo's love of B site may work against them. They'd assume that B would be where North would head to. AZ finds Victor on short. Ships gonna hope to pick up some wind and get on this site sooner rather than later with no kit. There's the first, but it's at cost of 87 HP. And I think that is the moment where he decides, maybe I should back away. Although, that being said, though, to be fair, when you're eyeing up a 15-3 score, is it really even worth to save the FAMAS? He decides yes. He's out of there. They're going to have 12 map points on Windigo's choice of Overpass. That is absolutely nuts.
They've gotten wrecked, man. It's just, it's really bad. We've had a couple of one-sided games, obviously, but those games were, like, heavy underdogs versus, you know, really big-name teams, like Lucid Dream versus Liquid, for instance, or something like that. This is one of those games where, I mean, Windigo, when you think about what they were able to do in their EPL group, taking maps off of elite teams, qualifying for this event, qualifying for tours, doing well at WESG. This is a team that should be able to challenge North, who's in a roster transition. But they are getting battered on their pick. And it's almost over. I can't see a way back for them.
I'd definitely be inclined to agree on that. If Windigo can maybe get to 10 or 11 rounds, I'll begin to believe. But up until that point, North are heavy favourites, not just to take this map, but also the series as it stands. Poison, normally a player that you can rest easy on, performing well and fragging out. Has been eerily quiet in this game. 7 kills only. Ship's top fragging with 12, and he's not even positive kill to death with 15 deaths to his name. But speaking of the man, he is going to deliver with a frag onto Kirby.
Well, what can Windigo do here as North are gathering up over towards Long, using that smoke to be able to safely travel up closer to the bomb site? They have plenty of mollies and smokes once they get there to actually explode in. But that's a great little lineup from ships through.
He's been tamed down by North. Significant damage to Bubble. Maybe this is the start. You know, something special. Maybe Yugi's going to pull off a 1v2 clutch and put this to bed. There's the first Bubbles. Last player left standing. It's looking good for Yugi. Does he check the corner? Yes, he does. And the man that's had so many issues in the past really comes alive. Asda North, 16-3 victors on Overpass. What an absolute destruction.
Indeed, the heaviest loss that Windigo's ever taken offline on Overpass. That was absolutely brutal, as the Bulgarians and Calyx are one step closer to the airport, while North are one step closer to facing Vitality in a rematch in the lower bracket finals to try to make the playoffs of this event. This is Dust. With me is Vince. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be bringing you map 2, where it may be the final map of the day, unless Windigo can figure something out quickly. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a bit.